we're back to flipping the orientation. I have it set for horizontal. I had a whole conversation with a YouTube rep over email about how to fix this. I thought we had it fixed and I'm still flipped. Let me fix this. This is frustrating. All right. I guess I'll have to have another conversation here eventually. Unfortunate. All right. Well, we are here and I'm going to be doing a little bit of a Christmas hangout live. Yesterday was Christmas, obviously. I had a great time. I hope you guys did as well. I, like most of you probably, got a whole bunch of new stuff, a lot of it relating to stuff I do here on the channel. So I'm going to talk over a lot of my new gear, and then I'm going to talk about some of my plans for the new year, some other random stuff, and just have a good time here for a little bit. And yeah, let me know as you're coming in. Every time I set it for horizontal and it flips it vertical, I have like an error where I can't see how many viewers I have or how many likes I have. So it's a whole big unfortunate shebang. So let me know when you're coming in on the chat so that way I know who's in here. All right. I have a whole box of stuff down below me here and a whole bunch of stuff off to the side as well. I'm going to wait until someone comes in and then we'll see what happens. I also have my little workbench here cleaned off. It was that's my dad's sign, not mine. But I've had this very dirty for like the last month or so, very disorganized. I've been doing a lot of leather work projects. I gave a lot of people leather work gifts for Christmas, and this has been covered with leather working tools and leather scraps for like a month, and I finally got it covered. I finally got it uncovered and back to its normal state, so that's kind of nice. We're going to be doing more leather working projects. You guys will see a video on that here in the next month or two because that was kind of my Christmas gifts to people, and I've been working on that for a while. Skeeter is in. How's it going? As I said earlier, before you were in, we're just going to run over some of the gear I got. But pretty much the majority of the stuff I got is relating to stuff I do here on the channel. I really only got 2 or 3 other things that didn't relate to stuff on the channel, so people know my interests. I'm gonna start working through some of this stuff here. What do we think we should start with, Skeeter? What do you think? I've got just a little bit of fishing stuff, not much fishing stuff, whole bunch of general outdoor stuff. I got some camera stuff. I've got a little bit of cool clothing to show. What do you think we should start with here, Skeeter? I know you're in here. As I said before you came in, my YouTube glitched again, and I had it set for horizontal, and it just flipped it to vertical. I had a whole conversation with the YouTube rep about how to fix this, and I thought we had it figured out, but apparently that is not the case, which is unfortunate. I'm not sure how to say your name, Nilaya, something like that. How are you doing? Whatever you want. All right. Well, I'm just going to blindly reach down into the box of stuff here, pull something out, and we'll start talking about it. All right. Here you go. All right, so this is one of the first things. This is a selfie stick. This is for getting some cool shots with some of my camera equipment. It's like a 3-foot selfie stick. Goes out that long. Nice aluminum selfie stick. And it came with a mount to put it on your bike, so I can get some cool shots with that. I just like getting camera gear so I can continue to make the videos more interesting and continue to make cooler shots, get better quality footage. And this should help with some future shots and some videos. Should be fun. I'm Iranian. Awesome. That's super cool. I love interacting with people from different countries. It's always cool to get perspective from people who aren't in the same culture as you. It's super cool. But yeah, that's one of the first things I got. Not a super expensive one. It's like 20-ish bucks to get this set up with the bike mount and this basic camera stuff. But you know, the more camera stuff you have, the more opportunities you have to get cool shots and make cool videos and stuff. So I'm very appreciative of this. I believe my parents got me that one. What else do we have in here? We'll just stick with some camera stuff before people start coming in here. Camera stuff is general to all the things I do here on the channel and should help me to make some cool videos here in the coming year of 2025. But when people start rolling in, then I'll look at some of the more outdoor specific stuff. All right. Another thing we got is these. These are ND filters to go on my GoPro. I use as my primary filming camera. I have a couple of them, but for most of the things I do here on the channel, I use a GoPro Hero 11. I've had this for a while. It's actually a really funny story about how I got this. My camera that I used before this was not a great camera. You can go back and watch some of my early videos and you can tell it had some focus issues. It overheated a lot. There were a lot of issues with it, but it's what I had, so it's what I used. And I decided with the instruction of my dad that, like, hey, if you want to keep doing this, want to keep getting better, you should invest in a better camera. So on Amazon Prime Day, back, I guess it's a year and a half ago now, we were looking at stuff and we found that you could get like a crazy deal on a GoPro Hero 9 where you applied for like some sort of promotional thing through Amazon, and then when you got it, it brought the $263 GoPro Hero 9 down to $63, and we're like, heck yeah, we'll do that. So we ordered the Hero 9, and what showed up at our door was the Hero 11, which was like brand new, $500 at the time, and we're like, oh, okay. So I have a Hero 11 and I only paid $63 for it, which is, I'm happy about that. I like that. Yeah, I use a Hero 11 for most of my filming, and these are called ND filters. They essentially like polarize, they're like sunglasses for your camera. So the ND8, it takes out some of the shutter speed, like it reduces it a little bit, meaning there's less motion blur. If you put that on there, see, it looks like it's like a super dark thing, polarizes it. And it goes up to the ND64, which is like if I'm fishing on the kayak and it's super, super sunny out, this will take a lot of the glare off the water and make my exposure better. It's just stuff I can pop on to give myself a little bit of extra boost to my filming quality without doing too much work in like video editing or anything. So these were super cheap, like 25 bucks for this set of 4. I have some different options here. My parents got me that as well, and I'm super appreciative of that. If you have a GoPro and you're looking to kind of upgrade some of your footage, then that might be something you want to look into if you do stuff like go out and fish on the kayak. Stuart is in. How's it going? Talking about some camera stuff. We're going to get into some fishing and outdoor stuff here in a little bit. Right off the bat, I'm looking for other camera stuff. Here you go. I got quite a bit of camera stuff. This is a really interesting product. These are normally like 50 bucks. We bought it during Black Friday. So it was like 30-ish then. And what this does is, as you can see, it swivels like this. But if you see, you tilt it, it takes a while to respond. It's hydraulic, and it kind of stabilizes out your camera and makes for smooth panning up and down as you raise and lower your camera on something like a selfie stick. And this is designed for your GoPro. It's called a Grav Grip. It's super cool. It stables it out and makes you be able to do some cool shots without it being like bouncy all the time. So I got this. Should open up some other cool possibilities for filming. This was from my aunt. Thank you to her. We got some new people coming in. Marisol, hello, how are you doing? Amir, how's it going? We're talking over some of the gear I got for Christmas. I do, on this channel, I do a ton of outdoor stuff. Right now, we're going through some camera gear, which will help me to continue to improve my video quality. But here in a minute, I'm going to talk about some of the more outdoor specific gear I got. All right, I know there's at least one more camera thing. I'm looking here. Give me a second. There's 2 more camera things. All right. I also got these. Also a GoPro accessory These are super cheap. They were like $8 for a 2-pack, something along those lines. They're just little foam things with some cutouts in them. And what they do is they shield the microphone holes on your GoPro. So if I can get them on here, breaking out the Hero 11 again, you have to kind of finagle it in here. It's slightly difficult to do. You gotta be careful. You don't want to rip it. These will eventually fall apart. They're kind of disposable. I've heard people say like, yeah, you use them 30 or so times and then they break. But you can get it on your GoPro and then do something like that. And then it covers all the microphone holes on your GoPro while still allowing sound through, but it reduces your wind noise a lot. Yet again, something super cheap and super simple that I can pop onto the GoPro and make my editing experience a little bit better. Wind noise is really hard to reduce without making the sound in the videos like kind of sound hollow and really bad. So doing it like physically reducing the wind noise will be something that's super helpful and beneficial. And then the last camera thing I got is this here. I swapped out my SD card. Right, the red one in there, that's a SanDisk SD card, but I got a Lexar micro SD card. This is just an adapter. It's in my GoPro. It was on mega sale for Black Friday. It's typically like $50 and it was like $18 or $19, so I asked for one of those. It's a 256 gigabyte SD card, so I can store up to 10 hours of footage from the GoPro on that SD card, which is super nice. Means that I can go on really long trips and don't have to like clear my GoPro partway through. It makes it a lot more efficient to like organize things. It makes it so I don't have to think about things as much. Well, if I'm out there on like a week-long fishing trip, like in the Outer Banks in North Carolina or Ocean City, Maryland, when I'm filming one of my multi-species madness, I won't have to clear the card partway through the trip. If I come with an empty card, I can just dump the whole card into one folder, and it makes it so much easier to have a big card like that. And because it was so cheap, it was a kind of a no-brainer purchase. Like $20 for a 256 gigabyte high-quality SD card is really good. So that's all the camera stuff, which I know a lot of you guys probably aren't as interested in, but I'm interested to tell you because that means that my videos are going to continue getting better and better as we go along here, because I got some new stuff to work with to help me out. Here we are. Alrighty. Now we got to get into some bump to the thing here. We got to get into some actual outdoor gear. Yeah, we'll take a look at that. The first thing is this. I'm super excited about this. A lot of you guys know that I look into a lot of EDC stuff. It's good to have tools on you that kind of fit what you do, but especially as an outdoorsman, you know, I'm just making up a scenario here. You go out into the woods to fish, you drive your car out there, you have your gear with you, and you want to go catch a fish and cook it. You're going to need stuff on you that's able to help you cut your fishing line, able to help you fillet your fish, able to maybe start a fire in case you're out there and you get stranded, able to light up your path if it's dark, maybe some stuff to fix problems with your gear or fix problems with your vehicle. If you need that, you're going to need a whole bunch of tools, and it needs to span stuff. So I frequently carry knives on me, flashlights on me, multi-tools on me, just stuff that can help fix those problems and get me through those scenarios. And this is a multi-tool, which is one of the most useful things ever, just generically. This is made by a company called Roxxon. They have a like folding pliers version, like a needle nose pliers version of the multi-tool with all the tools in the handle, like a Leatherman. A lot of you probably know what I'm talking about. They have a version of this tool like that, but they also have this version, which is called the Roxxon Flex Companion. The full-size one's called the Flex, and it's a cool tool. It comes with like a blade, a whole bunch of other tools as well. Comes with like a holder for a pen and a little pin and a pair of tweezers. Super cool. design here. Just some general useful tools. Bit driver, 1/4 inch bit driver, just general useful stuff. But the really interesting thing about this is that all these tools are removable and swappable. So if you take a look, there's this switch here. If you open something up, that's how you lock it and unlock it. Push it that way and you can unlock the blade. And if you push it all the way over, it clicks. And as you can see, this little tab pops out. Push that back in. It's flush. Push that over and that tab pops out. When that's out, you can pop out all the implements and change them out. This is super useful for a variety of reasons. Number one, let's say you're going somewhere that doesn't allow knife blades. You can just pop out your knife blade and leave it and still have the rest of the tool available. You can also change it out to make it custom to you. You can change it out day by day. Say, hey, I know I'm going to be doing this. So I'm going to swap out this tool for this tool and change up the scenario a little bit. And then you can also do things like make some measurements here. And if you're savvy enough, which I'm going to try to be at some point, you can design your own tools for this. It's a super cool system that allows like a lot of modularity and a lot of fun stuff to be able to be done. And then when you're done, pop that back in and then lock that back in. And now it functions like a normal multi-tool again. It came with a couple extra tools, like different implements that you could swap out, put in and out. So if we look here, it came with an awl, which I swapped out for this tool here, which is the holder for the pen and stuff, because I found that to be a little bit more useful. You had to kind of pick and choose what you wanted. It came with a saw, which I also swapped out because I won't use that unless I'm in the woods. And it also has like a comb type thing. Super, super weird that it has this, but I guess if you want it, you can have it. But yeah, you slide this way. Let's see if I can do this. Well, you guys can see it. If you slide it this way, it pops the tools out and you can kind of file through them and pick which one you want with one hand and then lock it out, unlock it. It has a safety lock, so you, oh, not on screen. Safety lock, so you can slide that up and nothing will come out. Super, super cool. This is like $50 for this setup. And yeah, I can do a whole bunch of stuff with this. I can get different implements. I can swap out implements depending on what I'm doing that day. I can design stuff for it. I think it's a really cool tool. And I think for many people, depending on what you want, it's comparable size to something like a Swiss Army knife. And I think for a lot of people, this might replace that. And it's a super cool, innovative tool that came out in October, November era, something like that. I'm excited to try it, see what I can do with it, and have some fun trying to do that. Joyfield Jenny is in. Thank you so much for popping in. I appreciate it. Talking about the Roxxon Flex, which is one of my Christmas gifts. Super cool modular multi-tool that I'm very excited to try out and see all the different unique things I can do with it. Alrighty. Now we get into some of the other things. Alright, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk about this. This is super, super exciting to me because this is something that I didn't ask for. My dad and mom put this together. But it's also something that I will eventually have available to you guys in a sense if I can get everything working. I don't know when it's going to be, but I'm looking to do something like this. Here's the big reveal. We have a Mission Discover shirt, which my parents got for me. I didn't ask them for this. They just got it for me. Super, super awesome. My dad has a matching one. I think we're going to try and go to the Harrisburg big outdoors event. I think it's just called the Great Outdoor Show. And I imagine if we go, we'll both be wearing our matching shirts. But I'm eventually going to try and set up a merch store. And I think it's going to be something like this. I think I'm going to do the channel logo in a little corner, like a chest patch on the front. And then if I do a back design, I will have what my channel banner is, just the trees with my Discovering the Outdoors. I'll have that on the back. Super simple designs in a couple different colors. This is kind of exactly what I've been looking for. And to have it in like a physical concept that I can wear and try out is super cool. And I really appreciate my parents for giving me that. We got a bunch of chats coming in. Yash is in. Yash is one of my classmates. How are you doing? Hopefully your break's going as good as mine is. I've been having a great time. Yeah. Brad is in. All Things Country. How's it going? Joyfield, Jenny, this is my first time coming to visit Mission Discover. Yeah, I happen to be in a whole bunch of like live chats in Anyfin's channel and a couple different channels where I see Jenny, but I don't think she's ever come into mine. I do really appreciate that you did. But yeah, coming back to this, I'm super, super excited to have like a physical idea of what the merch would eventually end up looking like. And I think I'm just going to keep it simple. Something like this. Chest logo on that. And then if I do a back, it would just be a back design and like nothing on the front. Yeah, super, super cool. I really like it. And thank you to my parents for giving me that. All right, what next? We'll get into some fishing stuff because I know a lot of the people in the chat here are big fishermen. We'll go with the small thing first, and then we'll go to the big one. This was a stocking stuffer from my mom. She said, "What should I put in your stocking?" I said, "Here, this is cheap, and I need some." Monofilament leader. It's 50 yards, but this is 60 pound. I'm looking to be doing some big, musky shark striper fishing this year, and I need some heavier monofilament leader to go with some of my heavier braids and heavier rods. So I got some 60 pound. You can get rolls of this trilene stuff for like $6, and it's good stuff. This is some super, super thick mono, which I will definitely be using for some bigger fish this year. Hopefully we get on some good ones. Look how thick this stuff is. It is very stiff. Anyway, I caught my biggest fish ever, which was a huge ray last year, and I really would have appreciated having some of that stuff. Could have put a little bit more pressure on it and maybe been a little bit more secure, thinking that I could get it in. It was over 100 pounds. I'm not exactly sure where it was, but it weighed more than 100 pounds. So having a little bit stronger line than 40 pound would have been nice to have. Yash says, "I'm going to go cook some donuts because I'm fat." Yash is not fat at all. I'll catch you later. See you, Yash. I will, I guess, see you. Is it Thursday? Yeah, I'll see you Thursday. Oh, a week from today. Yeah. I don't know why I had to think about that so hard. A week from today, I'll see you. Where are y'all at, Mission Discover? We are in Pennsylvania. I'm not sure if you've seen it, but I fished with Bob in person like several times. We live 25 to 30 minutes apart from one another, so we fished together in person several times. We are not too far apart. Joyfield Jenny says, "I see a couple of our friends in chat." Indeed, there's some typical characters of this community. There's a lot of people who involve themselves in this community that kind of go in this live and go in that live, and they all support each other, which is super nice. All right, now to the second of these two fishing items that I got. This one's really cool. It's definitely, I'm looking around. Yeah, definitely by far the most expensive thing that I've showed that I was gifted, and I really appreciate it. I think it's going to be really helpful and going to allow for some more adventures. And I think if you're someone who fishes on a boat, this is something that you might like. So this is a life jacket by Onyx, and it self-inflates. It has a CO2 cartridge in here, and when you hit the water, it automatically inflates it. It's super, super slim. I can put it on here in a minute, but it's super slim and super low profile until you actually fall into the water. And that means that you can use it like all throughout the winter, even if you're wearing a big heavy coat. Like big heavy coat with a life jacket over top is like not going to work, but big heavy coat with one of these over top would work. So this is going to allow me to do some like cold water kayak fishing and a whole bunch of other stuff, which I think is super, super nice. Because in the summer, you just have to have a life jacket in the boat. But I believe in Pennsylvania, it's between November and April, you have to have a life jacket on to do stuff. And traditional life jackets don't really work like that. So I got this. This is like $100 for this life jacket, but I think it's going to allow me to do a whole bunch of extra stuff. My grandparents got me this, and I really, really appreciate the fact that they were willing to do that for me. And yeah, I'm super excited for it. I did put the cartridge in it already, but I'll put it on and show you guys what I mean about its low profile nature. Half Century is in. How's it going? If I'm not mistaken, that's Half Century. Is that catfishing? Half Century Catfishing? I think I know the last part of your name from previous interactions. If I'm wrong, let me know, but I believe you're a catfishing person. I'm gonna back that up a little bit, see if we can get our fancy life jacket on. So here you go. This is how low profile it is when on. Yep, there you go. I got it. This is how low profile it is when on. There's practically nothing on the back. And if you were to fall in, there's a CO2 cartridge up in here where this pull cord is. You can either pull the cord, or when it senses water, it will automatically inflate it. And yeah, and then it floats you, which I guess is super, super nice. I will be wearing this in like any cold weather kayak fishing scenarios. This is what I'll be wearing. It's really nice. It's not cheap, but I think if you're someone who fishes on boats a lot, this is something that could be beneficial. Brian R says, that's slick. I agree. Thank you to my grandparents for getting me that. I'm not, hoping that I ever actually have to test it out, but I've watched some videos and it's Coast Guard approved, so I'm confident that it will work. And yeah, I believe that is going to be something that will allow for some more security and more efficiency in some future adventures. What did that set you back, if you don't mind me asking? This was $100. This was a gift from my grandparents. It's the most expensive thing we showed on the live so far. I really appreciate my grandparents for getting me this. Not cheap, but I think it will be something that I definitely use. Alrighty, I have, if I'm not mistaken, I have I've got 3 more things to show. I have a cool piece of clothing, I have a very, very cool light, and I have another random thing. What do we think we should show here first? Joyfield Jenny says, your grandparents are awesome. I agree. I will come back and visit. Have a blessed day. Hope you and your parents have a beautiful and peaceful holiday. Definitely nice. God bless. Well, thank you so much. God bless you as well. Brian R says, shout out to the grandparents. They're always the best. Yes, that is true. Brian wants to see the light. All right. So a lot of you guys know, as I talked about earlier, I have EDC lights that I carry a lot, and I have a really nice headlamp from Workos that I've also talked about on the channel. That's super nice. But something I figured out on Halloween, actually, I did a Halloween fishing live, is that it's very difficult to use those smaller lights and get them positioned so that you can actually see a spread of rods kind of horizontally. So one thing I wanted was kind of a more flood, horizontal style light. I also independently wanted a really bright light to use in the winter to kind of roam around and be able to see stuff in the dark, maybe do some night hikes and have like something that's really, really bright that can light up an area. This light actually does both of those independently, and it's really, really cool. It's by a company called Sophirin, which are the makers of my Workos headlamp. I have some experience with them. Workos is a different brand, but they're all made by Sophirin, which is this brand. I know their stuff's good. I love that Workos headlamp. It has never really had any issues for me. It's very affordable for what it offers, and It's like 35 bucks. It has like 2000 lumens, has a floodlight and a spotlight. You can switch between them. It's super, super cool if you haven't seen me talk about it before. Um, for 60 or 70 bucks, it was on sale when we bought it for Black Friday. If you're asking for things that are expensive, always make sure to send the people who are buying it for you, try and help them out a little bit and send it to them while it's on sale. That's what I did for all my stuff. This was on sale for like 36 or 38 or something. It was almost half price. But it has a lot of cool features. So I'm actually going to go turn off the lights. We're in the basement back room, so it will get very dark for a second. But I'm going to show you how bright this is. All right. Go ahead. All right, here we go. Oh, there's another one. All right, there we go. It's completely dark. I'm going to turn on the light. I'm lighting up like the entire room with just this light here. That's all this is. The entire room is lit up just from pointing at the ceiling here. Turn it off, completely black. That's just this light. All right, let me get some actual lights back on. There you go. So that's just the front emitter. Super, super bright. It's a very versatile beam. It's kind of spot, kind of flood, kind of in the middle. That is 5,000 lumens, and it can run like 2,000 for a couple hours. So it has some good endurance and some good brightness. You can kind of switch that back and forth between them. But that's not all this offers. I'm going to show you the rest of it after I read some comments here. Timmy Whack, I'm sorry I'm so late for this. Not a problem. I'm not new. I gave my brother the Carter Gaming, and now I have this one. Awesome. Make sure we keep our comments respectful, and we will not have a problem. Brian R. says, the Black Diamond On-Site has a very wide throw to the light. If you want a floody headlamp, it was designed for nighttime rock climbing. I was surprised how wide the beam spread is. Yeah, I've looked at some Black Diamond stuff before. What I typically do is fishing stuff. So what I wanted was a headlamp that I could, which there's not many that do this. I wanted a headlamp that could switch between floodlight, so I could kind of see my spread of rods if I'm fishing at night or hiking at night, which I also use it for, and a spotlight, so if I wanted to zoom in on something or I'm getting up close and personal, I wanted to just be able to see what I'm doing in my hands, I wanted to be able to switch that. That Workos does that. It's fully waterproof. It lasts a really, really long time if you're not using it on like the highest settings. It's super, super nice. I'll talk about it more in future videos. I have talked about it in previous videos. But yeah, it's super nice. The Black Diamond stuff are good as well. It's just not as kind of well fitted to what I typically do. What are we talking about? Currently, we're looking at all the stuff I got for Christmas, and thanking some of the people who did that, and also talking about some of the gear that I'm going to use on the channel and what I'm going to use it for. Yeah, Brian, it's called I believe it's the 15, the Workos HD15. Workos is spelled W-U-R-K-O-S. W-U-R-K-O-S HD15, if you want to look up that light. I believe that's what it's called. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, coming back to the Sophirin, this thing's battery is huge for a flashlight. This isn't fully waterproof, but it's close. Look how big that battery is. Rechargeable battery. Is it an 18650? No, 21700 battery. If you know anything about flashlights, there's some information for you. Brian R says, searching now. Thanks, man. No problem. Yeah, it's a good one. I've used it for a while. Came on my backpacking trip with me. Has come on many, many, many fishing trips. Has done some, if I needed to do some work in the dark for someone, I've used that. The spring on this cap is a lot. 21700 milliamps is massive. So no, that's the battery. I believe it's 5,000 milliamps. the battery is called a 21700, which, according to my godfather, who knows all about this random type stuff, it has to do with the length and the diameter of the battery. So it's like 210 millimeters long and 70 millimeters wide, something along those lines. I don't know exactly what it is, but I believe that's how they classify those. Like I have a 16340, which I guess would be 160 and 34 or whatever. So there's a lot of different classifications. I don't know exactly what they mean, but my godfather does. So I can get back to that. I can get back to you on that if you would like to know. Brian R says, "Wow, wasn't expecting it to be that affordable. Looks like a good deal." Yeah, they're really nice. This offers a ton of stuff. This one isn't cheap. It's like $70, but for the amount of stuff it offers, especially since I got it on sale, I'm like, okay. I mean, it looks like at a glance, it looks like it's worth it. Obviously, I got to put in some time with it to see if it's actually worth it. This was also a gift from my parents, which, again, thank you to my parents. Yeah, so looking at some of the other stuff, you can see it has this ring on the front, and you can rotate this ring. Stepping on things, but you can rotate this ring. So I had it on this, which is the front output, but if you rotate it one over to that, if it will focus, there you go. I now have the side emitters. It's coming out the side. This is really nice because, as you can see here, I can set this up on the ground like so and light up a spread of rods. So if I'm doing a nighttime fishing live for catfish or something like that, I can light up my spread of rods with the side light. As I said earlier when I was talking about why I wanted this light, that's one of the reasons. I can do nighttime fishing live, have all my rods set up just by laying this down on the ground in the middle. Super, super cool. You can also change how, like, the color of this light, the temperature of it. It can either be a cool white or it can be more yellow, and it goes up and down in brightness, and then bring it all the way down. There you go. It's still on, but barely. You guys can see there. Yeah, it has a lot of control. And then if we switch this switch one more time, it goes to colors, and you can change all the colors. This thing has so much stuff it can do. It's crazy. So I'm not exactly sure what I'd use this for, but I can change all the colors on the side light too. And then if I go like that, it's now in the locked mode, meaning if I press the button, it will not turn on accidentally, which is super nice. And then bring it back to here, back to the front mode. So this thing has a ton of stuff. It's not cheap, but if you can find it on sale and you're someone who just does general outdoor stuff, this is 100% something that will be useful. Super, super cool. I have to leave at 2:30 or 2 o'clock. Not a problem. We're probably only going to run this for an hour and a half. Will the light hurt your eyes? I'm sure it would. I'm not going to try and shine it into my own eyes. Brad says, still a good sized battery. Nice. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, most phone batteries are around 5,000 milliamp hours. So this is like a phone battery in a flashlight. So it's got quite a bit of juice to it. Timmy says, I want one. Yeah, they're pretty cool. And you got to be responsible with it. Don't shine it in people's eyes and all that. I know you're younger. So, I mean, if your parents are okay with that, then maybe this is something you could ask for next Christmas. They're super cool and super useful as well. Something I will use for a very long time as an outdoorsman and just someone who does general stuff. Bogley's keeping it real. Merry Christmas. Hope you had a great one. You as well. That is slick. The red would be perfect for catching night crawlers on the lawn. Yeah, I mean, I got it for I want to be able to see stuff if I hike around at night, which is that super bright front emitter, and I want to be able to light up my rods, but it has a whole bunch of other stuff that it can do with the colors and different strobes and SOS. Like, it has a ton of stuff, and it's really, really cool. Yeah. All right, I only have 2 more gifts that I'm going to talk about. I do quickly want to mention, just because I love to, say thank you to the people who give me stuff. First of all, it's really easy to get caught up in stuff after Christmas. I talked about it in a community post. I am a Christian, And I always like to share that I believe the reason for the season is Jesus. Yeah, and I'm never going to be one to push it on you. But, if you've never thought about it, maybe just take a look at it. It's easy to get caught up in the stuff and the fun of it, but, always try and remember what the reason for the season is. And even if you don't take a look at that, always try and remember that, there's stuff more important than just the stuff or the traditions. Take time to be with your family and enjoy them and thank them for the stuff they give you instead of just being like, "Ooh, look, I got fancy new stuff." Make sure you give some gratitude to the people that are, being so kind to you. With that being said, there is one particular thing that won't be shown on here because it's not part of what I do on the channel. A lot of you may know I'm a musician, and my mom's parents, my other set of grandparents, got me an amp to go with my guitar as well as some mics because I sing and play guitar, and so does my sister. So we can do all that stuff and have some amplification for when we go out and perform for people. And I really wanted to thank them for that. None of that stuff was cheap. And I appreciate the fact that they were willing to do that, even though I don't want to show it here. I want to give them some thanks anyway, because they also gave me a really nice gift, but it just won't be shown in this video. So I want to make sure I give the proper thanks to them. Timmy Wax says we need to be born again. I believe that as well. I'm having a Christmas party. That sounds awesome. Bogley says, well said. I appreciate it. All right, with that said, I can get into the last two things, which are from the same set of people, and then I've got some other random stuff to talk about. So, first one is, we'll go with this one first, actually. I'll just put this one up here. Gotta hide it. There you go, so you can't see it yet. This one here, a lot of you outdoors people may know what this is. I'm not going to show you the front. Let's see who the first person to figure out what this is. I'm just gonna sit here and wait. I'm sure someone already knows what that is. I'm waiting. Carter Gaming says, I love Christmas videos. It's always nice to have people be especially cheery. Timmy, it is a coat, but it's made by a specific brand. Carhartt jacket. Brian got it. That's what it is. I received a Carhartt jacket, which as an outdoorsman, pretty much anybody who owns one can tell you, yeah, that's something that'll do you real well and you'll have for a long time. They're super, super durable. They're super warm. We had a weekend at the lake house when I received this. It was 6 degrees, and I went outside in this coat with just a t-shirt like this on underneath the Carhartt jacket, and I was completely fine. It was 6 degrees. The wind chill was -2. I was fine. I didn't feel like I needed any other layers. I was out there for like 2 hours, and it was good. These things are pretty heavy duty, and they're super awesome. This was gifted to me by my girlfriend, and I really appreciate it. It's not something I asked for. She just figured it's something I would appreciate, and it is indeed something I appreciate, and will be something that as I'm tromping around through the woods, doing some heavy duty stuff where I need a good quality jacket, this will definitely be used in those colder months here in PA, which this winter's a cold one, so it will definitely continue to get some use before this year is up. Brian R. says she's a keeper. I would agree with that statement, not just because of the Carhartt jacket, but this is a very thoughtful gift. I had a white Christmas. Timmy, that's super awesome. We were so close to having it. We had some snow left on the ground the day before Christmas, but I came out on Christmas and none of it was left. And we didn't get any flurries. There was a chance we could, but we didn't get any flurries. So, white Christmas we narrowly avoided here in my neck of the woods in PA. Very nice gift, says Bogley. I appreciate it very much, and I agree with that. The statement that it is a nice gift. All of a sudden, I'm getting tongue-tied. Pro tip, do not accidentally hook your Carhartt jacket with a treble hook. 45 minutes of my life I will never get back. Yeah, that makes sense. Alrighty. So, yeah, it's heavy duty, very warm, and it will definitely get a lot of use. And then the other thing, which was an idea from my girlfriend, but her parents bought it for me because she lives an hour and 25 minutes away from where I do. And I do a lot of the driving when I come up there, we all oftentimes meet halfway to come to my house, but that means because I have to drive there and then drive back and then to drop her back at her car, I drive there and drive back. I do a lot of the driving, and they wanted to get me something to say thank you. And a lot of you might know this. Some of my more loyal subscribers might know. I drive a 2006 Ford F-150. I was born in 2007, so it's older than I am. And call me a youngster, call me, oh, you didn't know what it was like scrolling through the radios. I like to listen to my Spotify over just randomly searching through radio stations. And they got me a nice little speaker so I can listen to my Spotify in the car in a more efficient manner. Super nice, and it's waterproof, so I could take this on some little camping and fishing adventures with some other people if that's something that they like as well. Super thoughtful. Not super directly related to what I do here on the channel, but I do a lot of driving to some further away fishing spots, and this will be appreciated on those hour-plus drives for sure. So yeah, that is all the stuff I got. It's a lot, and I am very thankful to everybody. As I said earlier, stuff shouldn't be the main thing that you think about in Christmas, but it's always nice to get some cool gear, and I appreciate everybody who was generous enough to think of me. Those JBLs are great. Got one of those on my wish list. Perfect portable speaker. Yeah, I mean, the sound quality, I've used it a couple times now, is really good, and it has up to like 12 hours of battery life. It sounds like something that I'm definitely going to get some good use out of in the car drives. So yeah, I definitely appreciate the thoughtfulness in that. All right, so we've gone through all my stuff that I got for Christmas, and yeah, I think it's going to be some stuff that's definitely going to get some use in my adventures in 2025. You're going to see all this stuff in videos. It's going to be super, super fun. I got some questions here. In a minute, I will answer those. And along those lines of it's going to be stuff that I'm going to use in 2025. I'm going to talk about some future plans and some upcoming videos to kind of close out the live, and we can just chat for a little bit. And then I'm going to go have lunch because I still haven't done that yet. So I'm going to put this over out of the way because it's kind of sitting at my feet. I'll move that in a second. Here we go. Alrighty. Are you in your home? I am. So this is which is now covered with all the stuff I just talked about. That's my dad's. This is kind of like, it's a family space, but my dad and I use it the most. He's got his workbench for work over there because he's an engineer and works from home. I do a lot of my projects, fly tying. The fly tying vise is literally right here. I do fly tying, leather work, a little bit of filming, knife sharpening. All that is happening here. So, and then there's like craft stuff for my sister and mom over there. It's like our little backroom craft workshop area where we do a whole bunch of stuff, and makes a great place to do some lives every once in a while when I do indoor lives. Obviously, I'm an outdoor channel, so I try and do outdoor lives, but this one just made sense to do indoors. Don't want to have to bring all this stuff out into the woods just to talk about, you know? So, yeah. Where did you get that hat? This is fix my hair there, an Anyfin is Possible hat, who's a channel who I fish with frequently, and a lot of the people in chat also watch. A good friend of mine. Bob is the main guy on the channel. He's the dad. Kevin does a lot of fishing. Lyle is there as well. Those are his two sons. I believe both Kevin and Lyle now have their own channels as well. It's like a cool family dynamic fishing channel. It's super, super fun, and you should definitely go check them out. But this is a hat from them. Only the coolest of people are engineers that work from home. Brad, I feel like that might be a biased statement. Call me crazy, but I feel like that might have a little bit of bias in it. All right. Yeah. Now I'm going to talk about some of my future videos and future plans. Very first thing I'm going to talk about, which I'm sure Brad will be all over and can help me talk about, is ice fishing. I really, really, really want to get out on the ice this year. I've wanted to get out on the ice the past 2 years, but it's been difficult to do because I got my license in October of last year, and then I would have had only like 2 or 3 months of driving experience under my belt and trying to drive in icy and snowy conditions to go ice fishing. Not something my parents were comfortable with, which makes sense. But now I have a vehicle, and now I have the ability to kind of go places to try and do ice fishing, meet up with people, that sort of thing. I really, really, really want to get out on the ice this year, and I have some of my ice fishing gear, which I already owned, and I was setting it up. I've spent a couple hours these past few weeks setting up um, my ice fishing stuff and thinking about where I'm going to go, and I want to talk about my plans and some of that stuff for a little bit. Carter says, is your home big? We're blessed to have a good-sized home. It's not big, it's not small. I mean, it's kind of just like a normal suburban house, but there's a lot of people who aren't blessed enough to be able to afford that type of home. So I'm very glad that we are able to have the house we do. I have to go to school on January 3rd. I have to go to school on January 2nd. Yeah, I got to go to school on January 2nd. So that's not fun. Unfortunately, I think you have a little bit more schooling left. If I'm not mistaken, you're a little bit younger. This is my last year before I go to college, and then it's a whole different vibe. So, all right, let's talk about some ice fishing stuff. First thing, which I'm excited about because I made a whole video on this already, and I briefly mentioned it in that video, super briefly. I have a sonar setup, and I have used it on my kayak many, many times. But I bought the setup that comes with like the ice fishing shuttle. I think we're getting close to the point in time where I actually get to take it out on the ice fishing shuttle and try it on the ice. So I'm going to show you what that setup looks like, talk about that for a little bit. All right, here we go. This is it. This is my Garmin Striker 4. I have a whole dedicated video talking about this and whether I think it's really worth it. As far as like sonar setups go and like fish finders, if you will, it's a fairly inexpensive one. The entire setup, including all my mounting supplies, which are extra add-ons to the price of the setup itself, I spent like $220 on this. It was on sale, but they go on sale pretty frequently, as far as I'm aware. Comes with like this nice little shuttle. It's got a hard bottom to it. And inside is my Garmin Striker 4. I don't have it hooked up to the battery, so I can't turn it on. It wouldn't show you anything anyway. But we'll bring you guys in here a little bit closer. Sorry about the noise there. But yeah, Garmin Striker 4. Kind of pop this out, pop that in the hole with the float, hook it up to your battery, and should show you some stuff. I know, as I was talking about earlier, anything is possible. We've had some plans to maybe try and go ice fishing together. I brought it up to him. We have the workings of an idea to maybe do a video of ice fishing with a sonar versus without a sonar and do a little comparison. That might be fun. We'll have to see how that goes and how that works out. But yeah, super excited to possibly get out on the ice and possibly use this. If you go ice fishing, they will be too cold for you. Will it be too cold for you? Well, I'll have my Carhartt jacket on and maybe some nice, hand warmers. I should be able to tough it out, and hopefully the fish are biting. If the fish are biting, I'm willing to tough out a lot of harsh conditions to go get them. I'm sure a lot of my fisherman friends in chat here are agreeing with that statement. Those work well. My buddy has one we use on his lake for lake trout and whitefish. Yeah, super, super cool little setup. A lot of them are way more expensive than this, and in my experience, it does pretty good. Carter Gaming says, is your nice? I don't know what that means. I'm not sure what you're referring to. But yeah, first thing, I got the ice fishing shuttle set up. It's the same exact setup that I use on my kayak, but I converted it from the battery being in the battery box to being here. I have a little gasket so I can remove the cord. Go watch the video if you don't know what I'm referring to. But I took it out, put the battery in here, took the fish finder out, put it in here, got everything set up. And I think we're ready to roll for whenever ice fishing season hits us. we are going back up to my lake house for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day with my aunt and uncle and grandparents. And I believe if everything works out, there's a lake that's about half an hour from our lake that has enough ice. And if it stays with enough ice on New Year's Day, we're probably going to try and hit that. My uncle and I probably going to try and go up there and see if we can get some ice fishing done. It's the same lake that Anyfin is Possible was fishing on. What was it? Was it New Year's Eve, or not New Year's Eve, Christmas Eve? I think it was Christmas Eve. So a couple days ago, they were fishing there, and it was good ice. If it stays good ice, we're probably going to hit that with the good old Garmin. I also have never used them before, but I got some tip-ups, and I got them set up. I think I got them set up. So for those of you who aren't familiar, the way this works, you got to do a little bit of unfolding action, and you fold them into a T like this, and this goes down in the hole. So imagine the hole's here, set this on the hole, this is down below. You then take this flag, you bring it up, if I can do that, there you go. You bring it up and you fold it down into this little hook, which you push all the way to the right, like this. And then when something pulls on this spool and spins it, it knocks that little hook out of the way, which is attached to the flag, and the flag pops up like that, letting you know you have a fish. It has this black string on it, which is a super strong, thin diameter string, and I put 17-pound mono leader on there. I'm going to be trying to target some pickerel with it. Yeah, I'm going to have a whole bunch of tip-ups out, and I have one ice rod, which I own, which I'll just be probably messing around trying to catch some panfish on while these sit out for pickerel. We'll have to see how it goes. I've never actually used the tip-ups, but I understand how they work, and I think I can probably get them to work just fine, assuming the fish are biting. Brad says, I have a Humminbird Fishing Buddy, the all-in-one unit that does side finding as well as depth finding. Made my own rig to set it up for the ice. Yeah, this one was nice because when I bought this, it came with, there's a setup that's just it by itself, and then there's a setup that comes with the ice fishing setup. So I got that, and then got all the extra supplies to mount it on my kayak, and yeah, it worked pretty well. Timmy says, do you have Christmas parties? Well, everyone in my family comes over to our house for Christmas, and, you know, I enjoy having my family here, so that's kind of like a party. But, you know, an actual specific party, we don't really do that. Timmy says, I wish I could drink wine for New Year's. I will take it all and drink it all. Well, don't do that. It can definitely be bad for you. It can have some bad side effects, especially if you're younger. So I would not recommend that. Let's make sure we don't do that. All Things Country says, that's how I roll as well. A few tip-ups and one rod for jigging or dead sticking. Yeah, I mean, I've never done ice fishing, but I've watched a lot of it. And if I go out and successfully ice fish, I will be making another learning curve video, which I've made several on a couple different topics on the channel. Making a learning curve video on like my first time ice fishing, what did I learn, and I'll be talking about my experience and how I figured out what I was doing on my first expedition. But I'm excited to try it. I'm hoping it works out. We're going to do everything in our power to make sure that I can get on the ice at least once this year. We'll just have to see how it goes. Hopefully it is this upcoming New Year's Day. If not, we'll see. Speaking of New Year's, one of the upcoming plans I have on the 31st, we'll start here. On the 30th, I'm releasing a video, one of my favorite videos I've ever done, native brook trout fishing in little ditches with my uncle, who would be the same uncle I'd be going up to the ice fishing lake with. I made that on December 31st and January 1st of last year, so this like exact time last year. It's a super fun video. It kind of highlights how there's little diamonds in the rough, places that people never try and fish, where there's just a ton of fish all over the place. It's a super, super fun place to go and fish, and I love it. I've never gone to there in hopes of catching a brook trout and come away without catching a brook trout. I've never gotten skunked there. It's super, super awesome. And that video is coming out on the 30th. And then on the 31st, as part of the Any Fin is Possible Community Day, I'll be having a 1-hour live where I fish that exact ditch that's highlighted in the video the day before. So some native brookie fishing in little ditches is coming up on the channel. And then hopefully the day after that, hopefully, fingers crossed, that we get to go out and catch some ice fishing fish. We'll see how that all goes. Is it fun fishing? Yeah, I mean, it depends on what you like. There's lots of different types of fishing, and I think there's a type of fishing that suits a lot of different people, depending on what you like. But you know, sometimes you have days where it's slow, and if you only like fishing because of catching fish, then that's why people get bored. But if you like fishing because you like being in the outdoors and you like kind of the challenge of trying to go get them, then fishing can definitely be fun. Knowing what I know about you, I think you will really enjoy it. It is a very simple form of fishing. To me, that is the appeal. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure if I could put my finger on what the exact appeal to ice fishing is to me, but I guess it's just like the fact that you can walk on water and then like make a hole and go catch fish as you're sitting on top of the water without a boat. Like it's so weird, but it is something that makes me like really excited. Like I really want to catch a fish. It's like I'm fishing with a boat, but there's no boat. I don't know. I can't explain why I like it, but it's super interesting and I really, really, really want to try it. Hopefully we can do it. I'm really hoping. It's supposed to rain a little bit in the next couple days before we get up to that lake, and that might melt the ice a little bit. I'm hoping it's still safe ice. I'm really hoping. Really hoping. Yeah. As far as some other plans as we get into the new year here, I have something else here I want to talk about, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Some other plans I have, once we get into January, I'm going to start working on my multi-species madness videos. I have 3 of them that I filmed in the summer. I have one from North Carolina, a week fishing in North Carolina, the Outer Banks, saltwater stuff. One in Ocean City, Maryland, also a week long, and then 4 days of fishing in the Pocono Mountains up at our lake house around 4th of July. Those videos, I've been doing them. They'll be the 3rd rendition of those videos, and they're super, super fun. I'm eventually going to put a poll out as we start getting into the spring about what you guys would like to see as far as my multi-species madness in the future. I've done 3 renditions, once I get these out and done, of Poconos, Ocean City, Maryland, and Outer Banks. And I'd want to know if you guys will want me to switch it up a little bit, like doing some different locations, and then when I go to the Outer Banks and stuff like that, maybe doing some lives instead of doing a multi-species madness, or if you guys would just like to see me stick with that and maybe just add some stuff. I'm not sure what I'm going to do when it comes to 2025 at those places, because we go there every year, and I know I'm going to do a lot of fishing, but I don't know how I'm going to format that in the future. But for now, I've got those 3 multi-species madness coming out. I caught some cool stuff in each one of them, some unique experiences that I've never had before in each one of those different ones. I remember specifically I caught a fish at our Poconos, which we fish there all the time, and I go there all the time, so there's not really many new species available, but I caught a fish in a way I've never caught before. I caught one in a spot I've never caught before, a species in a location I've never caught before, so that was super fun. In the Outer Banks, I caught one new species, and it was a new species that I wasn't really anticipating I was going to be able to catch. It was super surprising that I was able to get it. And then in Ocean City, I think I caught 4 new species, as well as my biggest fish ever. So that's the one I'm really, really excited for. I hope you guys are excited for that one as well. Yeah. When we get around to April, I'm going to have my memberships back up. So that should be fun. We had a little debacle trying to get those set up. They were up for a little bit. Now they're down. And I'm just going to wait till April. That will make things much simpler, because I'll actually then be a legal adult so I don't have to work through my parents' account. I can just make my own. It will make things way easier once we get around to April. What else? I have two videos, two non-fishing related videos that I already have filmed and ready to go. I just need to edit them. And then I've got a couple other plans as well. Those two videos are the natural clay pottery. I did a live not too long ago where I made a campfire on the riverbank, just did some chatting. During that live, I was firing the pot that I made. You're going to see the entire process in that video. I'm super, super excited for that one. And then as well, we have the learning curve leather making stuff, which I'm not actually, I lied. I'm not fully done filming that one. I've got one more leather project to make, but I have the majority of that video filmed. It just needs to be edited. Some other plans I have involve, I want to do a microfishing like kind of tutorial video, how and why to do microfishing. I have a lot of that filmed, probably 3/4 of it filmed. None of it has been edited yet. I have a rod review video that I want to do. A lot of it's been filmed, but I still need to film more. I have a couple other like random videos and lives I want to do, but none of that's finalized. What is finalized, I have 3 multi-species madness ready to roll. And then I have the natural clay pottery and the leather making ready to roll, and those will be out, come the new year. I'm going to start working on all 5 of those videos, and we'll get around to doing them here at some point. Timmy, what are you doing? Timmy is stealing Brad's comments. You just copied Brad's comment. Are you going to make videos when you're in college? I plan to keep on making videos. I really enjoy it. And yeah, if my schedule allows me, then I will keep doing it. All right. Yeah, there's one more thing I want to talk about, and then we can chat for a little bit. And if nobody else has anything specific to say or do, then I'm going to end it. So, this is what I want to talk about. All right, we got them untangled. So, if you guys saw, some of you probably did, some of you haven't. Some of you didn't, sorry, grammar. Back in the summer when we were at the beach, I made a video comparing a mega slingshot to a shepherd sling. I have taken an immense interest in the shepherd sling since. So I've made a couple more. I've started looking into some stuff, and there's going to be a lot of shepherd sling content coming eventually. I don't know when I'm going to get it all done. I need to do a lot of experimentation and a lot of thinking. But there's going to be some fun stuff, and I'm really, really excited for it. So the first thing is I lost my original sling. It was green, and I set it down in the woods, and I could not find it. So I made a bright one with the retention cord that's black, and then the release cord and pouch as a chartreuse. And this is the exact same type as the one I made in that video where you weaved it and you made that pouch. This is for smaller projectiles, but obviously I know how to use this one. I've been messing around with it. They're fast, they're fun, they're easy. You can just pick up rocks and use them. I've been using that. I've also been looking into some other sling designs. I've only made one so far, but I've identified 3 additional ones that I want to make and try. This one, super simple, is made for a little bit larger projectiles. Let's see. Here, we'll show you with a tape measure. So if you look, this can kind of like mold around projectiles because of the like nature of it here. I'll use my smaller tape measure, that'll be better. So it can kind of mold like around projectiles because of the nature of it, with it being super like open, and it doesn't have like a very rigid pouch, and it's super simple to make. And I've identified a couple others, and I'm looking into 2 goals specifically, not really goals, 2 different objectives and things I want to try. First of all, I want to try and find like what is the best way to make a sling or a shepherd sling with paracord. I have 5 different designs I'm looking at. These are 2 of them. I want to do a whole video on that. I think it should be super fun. And number 2, I want to figure out how I can produce the most power, chuck rocks the furthest distance, do some testing on how much power these actually produce. I've done some research and a little bit of testing. This one that I made is, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm not going to try and elaborate it here. Because there's a lot of safety precautions you have to take when talking about firearms on YouTube. But if you know what I'm talking about, this will possibly shock you. This sling here produces more momentum, which is like it is more important than energy when assessing like how damaging something is, because it has to like kind of carry through the mass when it hits it. This produces more momentum with a projectile than a 45 round does by quite a bit. And that's cool to me that you can make something out of paracord that does that with a rock. I mean, the story of David and Goliath in the Bible is cool, and you think about that, but like, I guess it makes sense if you have something that is that powerful with just a rock, how that is feasible. I really want to learn how to throw these really far, and I want to learn how much power they actually have. I'm going to do a lot of experimentation with different sling designs, different lengths, different projectiles, and I'm very into it right now. I'm very excited about all of it. You can ask anybody in my family who knows me. I've been talking about it nonstop for like the last week. I'm very excited about it, and I'm going to try a lot of different stuff with paracord rock slings and see what I can do with it. Brad says, "Hey Timmy, if you want to imitate, hey, if Timmy wants to imitate my ice fishing techniques, there are worse role models he could be following." That's true. Carta Gaming, did you read how he killed the giant? So, I didn't read it, but I can kind of paraphrase it here. The story of David and Goliath is Goliath was a giant, which they had back in those days. There's a lot of biblical theories about how they came about. I'm not going to talk about it here, but there's a lot of cool stuff you can look into if you're interested. But he was kind of causing some issues, and they needed someone to take care of it, and all the warriors were not able to take care of him. But God gave David the confidence to be able to do this, and because he was a shepherd, he had lots of time to practice with a sling out in the field, and he used a rock and a sling, and he hit him right in the head, and he knocked him out. He knocked him out cold. He was done for. Super cool story, which has the good message as far as biblical things about the confidence that you can gain from a relationship with God. But also, you think about, oh wow, those slings have power, and yes, they do. I can confirm. So, can you go outside? I'm going to stay inside for the remainder of this live. But, yeah, I will continue to do more outside stuff. That's what the channel's all about. Bob, anything is possible, just got in. Just got home, Nolan. Got a few fish to clean, but we'll be listening. Super, super awesome. I'm currently talking about shepherd slings, which I know you watched that video. I did a video on that. But I'm going to do lots of experimentation with different types here. I've grown to be very interested in them, and I've learned how much power they have. I'm going to try and learn how to chuck them super, super far. I've seen people chuck them up to like 400 meters, which is insane. That's a quarter mile you can throw a rock with one of these. And I was telling them earlier, Bob, which I'm sure you will know what I'm talking about here. This, if you calculate the momentum produced by a projectile out of one of these slings, it is more than a 45 round. And if you use a longer sling, I saw a guy with a 4-foot sling, and he produced more momentum that's in a round from a 44 Magnum, which is pretty insane. But I'm now very interested in rock slings because of that information, and I'm going to do some videos and some experimentation with them in the future. And I'm excited to do that. Anything is possible. I hope every time you put one on the table, you say, "That's a big one." What happens if you find a candy cane upside down? Equals J in Jesus' name. Well, maybe. I've heard lots of theories about how candy canes come about, but that's an interesting one. But yeah, future plans. Got lots of adventures planned, but imminently going to be doing lots of experimentation with rock slings. and I really want to go ice fishing. And then I've got lots of videos planned. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at in the first part of 2025 to do here. Yeah. With that being said, we've gone through a lot of stuff. I've run my mouth for an hour and 15 minutes now on this live, but I appreciate all you guys coming in. I'm getting kind of hungry. I appreciated you guys coming in the day after Christmas. I hope you guys had a really, really awesome day yesterday. I hope you had some good time with family. I hope maybe you got some cool gear to try out on your outdoor adventures. But I'm probably going to call it there. I've got lots of stuff to do today. I'm maybe going to try and go fishing, and I definitely have to eat lunch. So, yeah, with that being said, I think I'm going to cut the live. As always, I appreciate you guys giving up your time to come in. There's a lot of other things you could be doing, but the fact that you came in here and hung out with me for an hour and 15 minutes is highly appreciated. So, yeah, I'll see you guys later. I know Bob just came in. He's like, oh man, I just came in and this guy's getting out of here. But yeah, I really appreciated the live, and hopefully if you didn't see all of it, maybe you can go back and rewatch some of it. I think we talked about some good stuff here today. See you later, Brad, Vike Fishing, Timmy, Half Century. I'll see you all later. I'm gonna cut it. See ya.